Hey guys, welcome back to the Misfits Hobby Hump Day. Uh, John, how you doing, John?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're good, and today we're have a guest here, Mitch, a White Sox fan, card collector. How you doing, Mitch?
I'm good. Thank you for the invite. I got to say, when you said join John, I thought I was in trouble since I was being brought into the office with the hobby president. So 'cause I just did my video last weekend on it. So
You don't have to worry unless it's Friday afternoon.
right. Or my parents get the call first.
Yeah, why do they always let people go on Friday afternoon? It's like you kind of know it's coming when they call you into the office at 4 on a Friday.
Look at Dylan trolling over here. About time. He's making sure that you get on off on time.
Yes, I'm jumping on. We're gonna do a recording after this.
Is it a secretive recording or is it something?
Well, so no, we're gonna talk some Japanese cards with Robert from Pristine.
Oh,
And, wait, is it Pristine or Prestige? Prestige.
Dylan sounds happy. He gave the double fist pumps. What's
That's
up?
one of his things too. Yep.
Yeah, so he sent me the invite, the link, and he said we're jumping on at 5. So I was on at 5. I didn't realize he meant Hawaii time. So that's 10 o'clock here.
Are you even gonna be able to handle it?
I don't know. I don't know.
That's way past your bedtime.
I know.
It's a
Mitch,
marathon day, I guess.
how you doing now? Any recent pickups, my friend?
Just a few things I did on the channel the other day. I actually have been anticipating a show I'm going to this weekend. Our big regional show is this weekend at the Chicago Sports Spectacular in Rosemont. Same venue they use for the National, but they use a lot less rooms for it because it's much smaller. But you'd pretty much find everything you want there too, for the most part. I've actually just kind of really been not doing as much vintage lately, with a few exceptions, but I've really been kind of getting into a lot of Albert Pujols cards in particular. Kind of feel like there was a hole in my hobby area there that I was trying to fill over the last couple months, and I went a little crazy with the top sapphires in particular, with his cards, which I think are just phenomenal. And I don't feel like my appetite's still satiated in that area yet. So
I think we've all gone through those where we're trying to play catch up with a certain set or certain player.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely. And then sometimes like the Hall of Fame ballot comes out, and then you're like, oh, wait a minute, before these cards go up, let me start picking up a few.
Yeah, just since September, I've also got a few graded, but like the fun ones I got just over that period of time. I've shown them all on the channel, but like some of the color refractors from like an orange for
Bring
2022.
you up. Very
Got the
good.
gold just recently. That was the most recent one that came in.
Is that numbered?
Out of 50. The other one's out of 25. And then the green from the same year, just the update, out of 75. This
Nice.
one I graded myself. So,
Okay.
well, not
Very
myself. I submitted to SGC, but yeah, I don't work there.
and then
If I did, everyone get 10s.
like Pepino Man's grading. Pig.
yeah. And then Scott is asking about one of your recent videos. I think it was yesterday. You were showing that Chrome box. Are you gonna open that box, John?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I still have it here. I don't know.
What do
You
you
got
wait?
that 1-1.
I
You
can't.
get like season
Well, I
tickets
just
for the
found out
Pirates for
that they
life.
have. I just found out they have Sadaharu O autographs in here that they didn't announce.
Mm.
So that makes it even more special. Now I want to open it.
You waiting?
I mean, I'm going to open it. I just don't have the guts to open it. I'm kind of waiting until that Skeens 1-of-1 surfaces, and then I won't be disappointed because I know it's not in here.
Oh, yeah. You gotta shoot your shot at that pack because they got that hit going out. Not the hit, but the bounty.
Yeah.
You could become a rich guy if you hit that.
Yeah, I don't know
His
what I'm going to do
girlfriend's
with
interested
season
in the
tickets for
card too,
30
right?
years
So.
since I don't live in Pittsburgh.
Wait, but would you keep
That'd be a
it?
long commute every night.
Would you keep it or would you sell it?
You know what? I think I might offer it to Paul Skeens.
Really?
But you know, everybody, nobody does that. Like Otani really wanted that ball, but you know, it's like hitting a lottery, and the guy, you know, wouldn't deal with him. I guess. I don't
Right.
know.
Mike Petty wants you to open it right now. Live. um, Mitchell, when you pick up these cards, is Albert Pujols the guy you're PCing right now?
Yeah, he's Jeter and Usual are the guys that I collect. Other than that, I work on sets for the most part. But Musial is my dad's favorite player, big Cardinals fan, so I've always kind of gravitated towards trying to get his run. There's also not that many cards to get from Musial, which makes it a lot easier. Jeter was one of my favorite players when I wasn't a kid when he started playing, but I was a teenager. I think it was just a lot of fun to watch, even though I didn't play for the White Sox, but I always beat up the White Sox. And Albert Pujols, we just had a lot of fun. My dad and I going to games at Wrigley Field, watching them beat up the Cubs. So it kind of gravitated into my, point of view at that point, and I just became a huge fan thereafter. Was kind of in the dark a bit during his Angel years, but like when he got back to the Cardinals, it was a lot of fun watching that last season. So.
And so Pujols is the guy now for you. You put him on
those three. Yep.
You put him on that echelon that must have like the guy you admired or something.
He's also like really affordable. Like if you were trying to like collect some of these players that are going to be surefire Hall of Famers, like he's so much more affordable than some of the other players that people are chasing after right now. And he already has all the numbers. He's already done, over 3,000 hits, 700 home runs, right? And I think he's in the top 3 in the RBI list of all time. I mean, I'm talking like inner circle Hall of Famers here, and he just doesn't compare at all, I think, to some of the players of the same era. The Jeter stuff is more expensive during the same era. Yeah, and like 2 less World Series, but he's got 3 MVPs. He did play in New York, but he did play in St. Louis. That's a big fan base right there.
So well, there weren't a lot of guys that hit 700 home runs.
No, right? Yeah.
What do you guys attribute to like Jeter being more expensive and Pujols being a little more affordable? Do you think it's that they stayed on the same team, Jeter, and then Pujols he didn't stay with the Cardinals, or is it something else?
It could be a part of it. I mean, but Jeter was the face of baseball during the time he played. Like he was the most popular player, even though he wasn't the best player at one point. He never really was, but like he was past his prime, but he was always like the face of baseball. In those national polls, if you had to like name your favorite baseball player, he was always like at the top of it.
Well, so he's the one you saw in the World Series every year, right? And he played in New York. Yankees. Yankee players are always bigger than other players.
Really, you think Yankees gets the bill? Like
Aaron Judge players might be moving up that list now.
I personally think Pujols was way better, more dynamic. I mean, his career tailed off a little bit. Maybe that could have been it, where Jeter almost didn't tail off. He stayed regular like his whole career.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you think that tail off for any player makes them not safe? You're seeing it now with Mike Trout.
I thought with Cabrera too. I think that's kind of the natural arc you see with most players. I think when you have players that don't do that, those are like the real special ones. We kind of think like Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, those kind of individuals that continued to do well into their elder years, if they weren't chemically enhanced, of course.
Yeah, I think if you watch Pujols, his first 10 years is phenomenal. If you're younger and you watched his last 10 years, you wouldn't maybe think as highly of him as those of us who watched him early on.
Yep.
Dylan says at least with Trout, he plays amazing when he plays. Unfortunately, it's like 1 month out the year lately.
Yeah, I mean, just Mike Trout is just such an amazing talent. I mean, he can do it all. He can run, he can catch, he can throw, he can hit home runs, he can hit for average. Just all around talent, man. Great player. I hope he can stay healthy and we get to watch him a lot more. I really do.
I don't think he's in center field anymore, though. I think they're going to move him to one of the corner outfields. But I just want to see him play.
Yeah.
It was great to see Pujols last year with having that renaissance over at St. Louis with the uniform. That was beautiful.
And he got in shape again. I think that was also a big piece of it too. I think he kind of lost his spark, for competing because the teams were so bad, and he kept getting hurt. And you could see just like in some of his cards, his belly got a little bit bigger every year.
Yeah.
He got into St. Louis. It's like, oh, he got kind of thinner for him again. He never was like a thin guy, but
Yeah, a lot of people chiming in on this. Dylan saying Angels suck to watch when he's not in the lineup. That could be true. There's nothing else to watch outside of him now that Ohtani is gone.
Hey, the only game I saw the White Sox win this year was against the Angels. So if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have seen a win. So thanks, Dylan.
So, John, I want to review the Hall of Fame ballot came out this week, and I wanted to see what you guys thought of some of the names. I think there's like 2 surefire, no doubt about it, but then there's some interesting names that might not make the cut, but we remember them for being really good for a long time. I'm going to go one by one. Carlos Gonzalez. What do you think about Carlos Gonzalez? Mitchell, John.
I think the silence kind of is our answer.
I haven't seen the ballot, and I don't. I'm not very opinionated when it comes to the Hall of Fame. I don't take it as seriously as I used to.
Right.
I really didn't get a chance to watch him play, so
I don't think he'll make it past the first ballot. I don't think there'll be enough people to vote for him.
Yeah,
personally. No offense to Rocky fans, but
look at Mike Petty, Cargo. He loves that nickname. I was a fan of Cargo. Unfortunately, it was like 3 or 4 great years for him. I definitely don't think he's a Hall of Famer, but he had all the tools, which was sad to see. He couldn't stay healthy because he did have all the tools. Curtis Granderson is one, which I really don't even know how he's sniffing his name there, but it's his first time on the ballot. He had a few nice years. I don't think he's even a consideration, but Felix Hernandez, King Felix, he was one that was like the best during his era. Like from 2000 on, like a good decade, right? He basically ruled as the best pitcher, no?
I always thought he'd make it into the Hall.
Yeah, King Felix?
I just don't think he had like longevity.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's why I don't engage in
like
such
good
discussions,
10 years, right?
because it's like longevity is so important for the final vote.
Yeah, I don't think he pitched quite good enough for a long period of time, but I would say like 6 to 7 good, like really great years. I don't know if that's enough for the cut.
Yeah.
I don't think it is either. Yeah, Mike Scott had 4 or 5 great years in Houston, and he's not a Hall of Famer.
Right. Nate disagrees. He thinks Felix is a yes. He agrees with John.
Somebody agrees with me. That doesn't happen too often. Yay, winning.
There you go, Mike.
Mike Petty
Curtis was the best player that went to my college ever. So he went to the University of Illinois at Chicago. Donated some money to the school too, and they kind of rebuilt some of their athletic grounds. So I'm a big Granderson fan, but he's not a Hall of Famer. But he's a really class act.
Yeah, I know a guy here who played minor league baseball, and he played with Felix. And he said when he was coming up, you know, they were talking so highly about him, and all the players were doubtful, you know. And he said as soon as he threw the first pitch, he knew, you know, they all knew there was something special about him.
And he pitched a perfect game, I believe, or something like that. Late in his career, I think, or no hitter, didn't he?
I believe he had a no hitter. Yeah,
I think he had a no hitter. I don't know if he had a perfect game.
It was something I remember at like 34, 35. He did that. It was a nice renaissance to see him like at least have one day where you could say, yeah, he's great for sure.
He was a good pitcher.
He came in at that time when they're starting to look at like using different metrics to kind of measure the quality of a player. Remember that one season he was barely 500, and like he's the Cy Young because they looked at all of his other sort of metrics, and it wasn't just about wins. When like wins was such a big piece of it, even back to like his like even the late first decade of the 2000s. That was a big thing that people needed to see, wins and saves. But
wins are always a big deal. But then you look at guys that are on bad teams, like Bob Gibson will give up one run and lose the game.
Yeah,
because the team wouldn't hit. And in fact, he was very vocal about how angry he was about that.
Mm-hmm. Great. Won the Cy Young the year it was 14-10, but his numbers were crazy.
Yeah, Paul Skeens too. I mean, he'll give up one run or no runs through 6, and then they give up 7 as soon as he leaves the game.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to get a lot of wins when you don't have a good offensive team that you're playing on.
Yeah, Nate says Felix may be the first pitching Hall of Famer that gets in with the new metrics for pitching. Yeah,
could be.
To me,
gonna look different.
To me, he was like CC Sabathia, except they almost traded places. Like Felix started off his career great. Sabathia like ended it on a high note because his first, I think, 5 years he was like good, not great. And then eventually, I guess he learned his body and he became dominant. And then he reinvented himself with the Yankees. And he pitched.
CC was tough.
Yeah.
CC was tough.
As a White Sox fan, I thought he was pretty good from the beginning. Honestly.
Yeah. I remember it was him and Bartolo Colon, but Colon he was a better pitcher in the beginning. And CC eventually surpassed him. Especially that time when he got traded to the Brewers. Oh my gosh, that year. Oh my gosh, he was like the best pitcher on the planet. He was so damn good. But he's a new name on the ballot, and I think he's a no-brainer. There you go. There goes
that was one of the ones I think will get in. That's why I pulled it.
Nice, and that's a goal.
I agree.
So Adam Jones is another one, first time on the ballot from the Orioles. Really nice player. I don't think he's gonna get in, but had a really nice career. I remember that trade for Eric Bedard. It was so lopsided because Seattle didn't get much out of Bedard, but the Orioles had a center fielder for like the next decade or so. So
I loved Adam Jones. I thought he was a great player, but he doesn't have the longevity. He won't get in.
Right.
Agreed.
Ian Kinsler for the Texas Rangers. He was really nice. He was a good player. I don't know if you put him on that level, but I don't know if there were many second basemen other than Utley at his time that was that good at second base, right? Cano, I guess, is another name that Kinsler was up there. Yeah, but I don't think he has Hall of Fame numbers. Russell Martin, catcher.
Russell Martin, nice catcher. I don't think he's going to go into the Hall of Fame though.
He was good to have on your team. He was a winner.
Yeah.
He's definitely gritty. I loved Russell Martin. He played for my Yankees for a cup of coffee and the Dodgers, I remember.
And the Pirates.
Everywhere he went, he won. Like he was probably like that 250, 240 hitter, but when the time mattered, he would get that hit when it mattered. So he was really good. Let's see what some of the people are saying here. So Kinsler.
I agree with that comment about him making a second ballot. I think he would.
Yeah, he probably won't get in at all. Dustin Pedroia, speaking of second base, he's first time on the ballot. What do you think about Dustin Pedroia?
I want to say yes, but his career wasn't very long. But I mean, he was a winner too. I mean, he's got a Rookie of the Year, an MVP. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like he was such a gritty little ball player. You weren't going to beat Dustin Pedroia. You knew that. He was kind of the engine on those teams, and they wouldn't be the same if they didn't have him. So, but it wasn't a long career, thanks to Manny Machado. But
John?
Yeah, I don't think he'll get in.
Yeah, unfortunately MVP, but he was the tag team with David Ortiz for a while there. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. Short career. I don't think Mike thinks Dustin is a yes, and I hate the Red Sox. Dustin, tough call, but he doesn't get my vote. I agree. Pedroia is right on the edge. Very close call. He's a close one because while he was healthy, man, there were not many better than him at the time. Very clutch.
I think it'll be one you see gets more votes every year, but I don't know if he'll get high enough over time. But
Brian McCann, catcher. What do you think, John?
I don't think he gets in.
No.
There was a period of time when he probably was the best catcher, but it was short-lived. It wasn't a long period of time. I think you're right. I don't see it either.
Right, I agree. I thought it was he and Posada for a little while there, ruling at catcher. And I think it was more like 5 years, 6 years, his greatness, not long enough. Henley Ramirez, Hanram.
Man, if he never left Florida, he might be in the Hall of Fame. His numbers there are amazing. Yeah, but after that, he kind of tailed off.
Yeah, a lot of people anything can happen after Rowling got in. That's tough to say, man. I would hate for that.
The thing about Baines too.
Oh gosh.
This is why I don't like to talk Hall of Fame, because every time I got to hear about Baines.
Lou thinks Dustin ain't even close. Laser show my ass. Overrated. Man, that is cold-blooded, Lou. Let's see who else. Well, we said CeCe. Another, I think, no doubter, Ichiro Suzuki.
Oh, he should get every vote. But someone stupid will not do it.
He won't get every vote, but he should. Yeah. First ballot, hands down.
I pull a few of his just for that.
Anybody that doesn't vote for Ichiro doesn't know baseball.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just like the people that didn't vote for Babe Ruth or Honus Wagner or Ty Cobb.
Yeah, I agree with Nate. I think he's a lock. It's just a matter does he get all the votes? Is he unanimous or how short is he?
I mean, they never used to be unanimous. That's a more recent phenomenon.
It's only been one. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was more recent.
So is he going to be someone you're going to talk about with the Japanese cards?
Probably not. I mean, we may touch on it. I really don't know. We might touch on his Japanese stuff.
Okay. Fernando Rodney, saves guy with the arrow. What do you think about him? No?
Good pitcher, good longevity, but no.
John? No?
No.
Troy Tulowitzki.
I don't know if he still holds the record, but do you know that he held the I think he had the highest fielding percentage of any shortstop to ever play? No. I know you could argue that he didn't have the range that other shortstops have, so that could account for some. But I don't know if he retired that way, but at one time he did. Did you know that?
Wild. Given everybody that's played, but
Mike Petty thinks Troy shit the bed, and Nate thinks Tulo is a no. I like Tulo personally. I remember Jeter was his idol, and that's why he used number 2 after his idol. And man, I would say 4 or 5 years nobody could touch him at shortstop.
Yeah, I liked him too.
Yeah, he was one hell of a player, but I don't think it was long enough.
Well, there are a lot of great players.
Like Garciaparra.
Yeah, Garciaparra.
Yeah, Tejada and stuff like that on that level, I guess. I don't know. And then one last name, Ben Zobrist. What do you think? Mitchell gives it a down, John? Ben Zobrist?
I mean, he'll always be loved here in Chicago because he was on the 2016 Cubs, but he's not.
I don't think so.
I never saw him as a Hall of Famer at all, but he did have a lot of clutch hits, and he was one of the first utility players that you could plug in anywhere on the field, and he was very popular for that. I remember that with
Yeah.
Tampa Bay.
I
He was
love
the
those
Joe Madden
utility
special.
players.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
Pirates had a guy like he played every position. His dad was a coach, and he learned to play every position. Rodriguez was his name, and it was just fun to watch him because you never knew where he was playing next.
and he had a good bat. Always batting him like right after the lead, not either second or late in like around 5 or 6 to back up the cleanup guy, and he did really like if you had a Ben Zobrist on your team, you were doing good. Like everyone wanted him on the team, a player like that. So it seems like Ichiro and CC are the only two, and a whole lot of maybes on King Felix, maybe.
What about the guys that are carried over? Are we getting to those?
Oh, the ones that carried over, like
Yeah,
the
because I got a couple of picks there. I think might get a yeah.
good. Take the lead, Mitchell. Then name some names.
Yeah, I
Take it
don't have
away.
the list in front of me, but the two that stand out to me, it's Billy Wagner's last year on the ballot. He was really close last year. We only have like 2 relievers during that era that have like been added to the Hall of Fame, and they were like maybe the best ever to do it, arguably. You can make our different eras, different expectations for relievers, and he was probably the 3rd best in that era, right? I mean, this is going to be the best chance to get in. Yeah, and he's such a cool little story. He pitched with his non-dominant arm because he had such a significant injury as a kid with his dominant arm, but he still became potentially a borderline Hall of Famer with his weak arm. That's crazy.
Amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, I always felt he was a Hall of Famer. Undoubtedly, like he was one of the top closers in the league, and every time he came on, it was almost a closed case shut. The game was over. So if I got that feeling of you from as a reliever, and you did it for several years, I don't see how you're not. Like over here, Lou Rock says, "Give me John Franco." John Franco with the Mets wasn't a closed case. I think Billy Wagner.
I think he needs to be reconsidered, Franco, man. They got to get on the committee first, but.
Mm-hmm.
And Andrew Jones, I think he will probably get in. I don't know if this is the year he'll get in, but his glove, I think, speaks for itself, and he's got a lot of power numbers to go with it. And he was on some really great Braves teams. Just, you kind of missed the peak.
Who is that?
Who won the World Series, but Andrew Jones.
Oh, yeah, that's Lou Ronk's boy.
That's it. I think those are the guys that have a chance getting in this year. Yeah, so those are the ones I pulled. Sorry, A-Rod. Yeah.
I would agree with a few people in the chat who mentioned Carlos Beltran. I always felt he was a Hall of Famer for sure. If it wasn't for the Astros cheating scandal.
Yeah, I think it would make him wait till the very last ballot. The writers can be really vindictive. But
you think so?
Yeah, I don't think he'll get the treatment that like the steroid users got, but I think they're gonna make him wait, which seems stupid. Either he is or isn't a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Mm.
You think he's a Hall of Famer?
Beltran?
Yeah, definitely. Like he
was special. He was special. Never led any one team to like super heights, but he was always on like really good teams. Had that really great postseason with the Astros that one year right before he signed that big contract with the Mets that I'll never forget, where he kind of like pretty much pulled that team as far as they could go, but the Cardinals got into the World Series that year instead of them. Yeah, I don't know. He was dangerous. Yeah, so I think so. I think I'm just convincing myself to say yeah.
Yeah, that postseason with the Astros was unbelievable. Like every other at bat, it seemed like it was a home run. And with the Mets, he was great. Like I think he flew under the radar for how great he was, but his numbers were so great with the Mets. And even with the Yankees, he was good, like 30 home runs. Like he never really had that many down seasons, it seems like. He was steady Eddie. Never led the league in anything, but just steady Eddie with really good stats. He's definitely, and 5 tools. That's another thing. Like there's not many 5-tool players out there, and he was one of them. I think he's for sure. For sure.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I don't know if he gets in though. I really want them to take a look again at Jim Edmonds, but I don't know. Edmonds was like a better defensive center fielder, I
I
think,
love Jim
than all
Edmonds.
three of these
I
guys we
loved
just
watching him
discussed.
play
But
center
his
field.
bat wasn't as good. Didn't have as many numbers that way, but he still had some great seasons offensively.
Right. I mean, the Jim Edmonds comparison I think is unfair to Beltran. Although I loved Edmonds, I'm a Edmonds fan till the cows come home. Edmonds was just too volatile, up and down with the injuries. But when he
Saw the
put
game, he got a concussion, pretty bad.
yeah,
Ran into the wall at Comiskey Park. Yep,
right,
fell down back on his head,
he
right in
could
front of me.
he played balls to the wall, like straight out, like
Mhm.
all or nothing. Unfortunately, he got hurt a lot, but when he put it together, like with the Cardinals, oh my God, like his Cardinal, he had like 2 or 3 years were just
Mhm.
really great. It makes you wonder, had he
Yeah.
stayed healthy, he could have been one of the greats. Unfortunately, Beltran for me was healthy and he consistently put up those numbers for years and years and years and years. So that's why I have a hard time comparing Edmonds to Beltran. But I think Edmonds had the tool, and like you said, better fielder. Much like Andrew Jones, like both of them. Oof, I could point the finger to and say some of the best catches I've ever seen in baseball. Both of them.
Lockdown center fielders. Yeah. The ball. That's where the ball's going to go to die. If they got anywhere near those players.
And Edmonds, right, John? He had some of the best highlight real catches.
He sure did, man. He was fun to watch.
Oh my God.
He was fun to watch. He used to, make those catches over his head because he
And
played a
Dyke-
little shallow at times, and he made those Willie Mays type of catches.
Mm-hmm.
He was the only one they compared to Mays. I mean, other than Griffey, maybe, but that had
Yeah, and he didn't look the part. He didn't look like a guy that was gonna, run those down and make those catches. I don't know. He just, he didn't look like your typical center fielder. He looked more like a Brett Butler type.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, kind of a little bit like a undersized linebacker, kind of going.
Yeah,
after
right.
balls.
He was thick, and not, when you think of center field, I don't know. I think of more of a lanky guy with tons of speed. But he was fantastic. I love to watch him play center field. I love to watch defense. Unlike most people today, they just want home runs. I love to watch defense.
Yeah, I agree. Great.
I saw someone mention Omar Vizquel too. He's still on the ballot. Speaking of defense,
he was smooth as hell.
He'd probably be in there if there wasn't that thing when he was in the minor league system as a coach for the White Sox. Which he still denies to this day, but he's big character issues as a result of it.
Yeah, I don't know the specifics of that, but I heard rumblings of something.
I don't know about Vizquel only because his average, he was like an average hitter, but nothing else really, right? Like
that's Ozzie Smith in a nutshell.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got to look at his defensive prowess. I think. I mean, he's an Ozzie Smith type. Fantastic glove.
Yeah, fantastic glove, but severely overshadowed where shortstop's offense was starting to get to the next level.
Yeah, he was from another era.
Yeah, exactly. He was like the last of that type of a shortstop, I guess we could say. And I don't know what his career batting average or numbers were offensively. I just know that, man, he was smooth at short.
Right, he was smooth. He made every out. To me, he and Edgar Renteria were two players fun to watch, but never got the love that the other shortstops got.
Yeah.
Because to me, Renteria, he went to San Francisco, he won. He went to the Marlins, he won. Like
St. Louis too.
Yeah, what he did for the teams, you couldn't measure. Much like Russell Martin, it was just he was just a win player that knew to do everything to win, and he was great to have in the clubhouse. So that's the whole.
There were a lot of players like that. You want them on your team, but they're not going to the Hall of Fame. But you want them on your team.
Yeah.
Who was it? Leo DeRocher? Was that Eddie Stanky's manager? Was it Leo DeRocher? Eddie Stanky's manager. I can't remember. I'm drawing a little bit of a blank on the manager, but he said about Eddie Stanky. He said he can't hit, he can't run, he can't field, but all he could do is win. And that's the kind of guy, you want on your team, but he's not going to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
A Pepper Martin type to go back in the old days.
Yeah, that's a good example.
Yeah. You want that guy on your team. Russell Martin was that dude.
That was phenomenal, though, watching he and Alomar up the middle. Like, that's some of the most beautiful defensive play between a second baseman and shortstop I've ever watched. And I got to see a lot of it because they obviously played the White Sox a lot. So,
Yeah. And to Omar Vizquel, he played on that Indians team in the 90s that was just stocked with players. And he was down in the order, but to me, he was like that perfect glue guy where he turned the lineup over. He was just so good to have where you didn't hear about him. Everything was Bell, Ramirez, but he flew under the radar and just played really well for them for so long. He was really good. Like,
yeah, players up the middle were their foundation, right? They had Lofton in center, they had Alomar and Vizquel, and then they had Alomar behind the plate too. It was a really good defensive catcher, called great games. Just wasn't a great hitter, but they built around him.
Did he play with Barrega? Because I think Barrega was also...
Yeah, he would have crossed over with him a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Because Barrega was another...
Alomar came over after he spit on the umpires. So.
What do you think about that? I mean, I sometimes wonder how to treat him because I thought that was disgusting. But he's a Hall of Famer. What do you feel about Roberto Alomar, John?
Yeah, I mean, like that kind of tainted him, the way he would act like that. But great player. I mean, great second baseman.
You, Mitchell, what do you
I think
feel
his more
about
recent stuff that he's done with the sexual harassment and stuff towards women is much worse than the spitting of the umpire, which wasn't great either.
Yeah.
But he got in the Hall of Fame, but they're still keeping, Beltran on the ballot and won't put him in there because he was banging on some garbage cans. But
with the Alomar, all I know is when I watched him play, he was the only one they would compare to Joe Morgan that played stellar defense and great offensively also. And he was tough out, man. My God, was he a tough out. He seemed to just give the pitchers fits to try to get out. And unfortunately, he has all that extracurriculars that doesn't allow you to just put him on that level like Joe Morgan. But I thought he was as good. I didn't see Joe Morgan play, really. I don't remember him much. John, you probably remember Joe Morgan more than I could.
I remember him from when I was little. Yeah, he was fantastic.
Yeah, when you watched him play, he was a little bit older already, though, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's, mid-70s. Well, I didn't watch
prime,
I started watching him like kind of after the World Series. But he was good. Like he was very consistent. Just a good all-around player.
Yeah.
He led the league in stolen bases. He was a great fielder. He was a solid hitter. And for a second baseman of that era, he had some power compared to all the other second basemen.
Right.
Most second basemen back then were slap and Judy hitters, or
some wouldn't hit a home run at all that season.
Right. So and I could still see his elbow pumping.
Yeah. I just saw Rod Carew like around the time when I was young that I could remember. The top second baseman to me was Rod Carew. I never saw Joe Morgan really. I think he was with the Giants at that time or something, like in the mid 80s.
Oh, yeah, he was wrapping it up by then.
Right. So I just heard stories about him afterwards. But to me, it was Rod Carew. And I grew up with Willie Randolph, which is like what John said, slap hitter, moved the runner over, bunt.
I liked Willie Randolph.
I liked him too, but you couldn't count on him much else other than to like move people over and try to get on base as a better.
We had Frank White was a second baseman back then. Davey Lopes.
Yeah. Lou Whitaker.
Yeah. Lou Whitaker.
Lou Whitaker, yes, he was one of the
also somebody that should be reconsidered for the Hall of Fame.
A lot of people argue he should be in the Hall.
Yeah, I argued with Mike Moynihan. We did like 10 players for each position who should be in the Hall. He was my guy, Lou Whitaker. I said he's definitely a Hall of Famer. I don't see how he's not. Like one of the top second basemen for close to 20 years. You know,
Well, I wanted to go back to Rod Carew. You brought him up. You know, he's one of those guys that even though he won 7 batting titles and hit for a high average, he didn't have a lot of home runs, but yet he hit for a lot of power. Like he hit a lot of, doubles, triples into the gap. He hit a lot of balls off the wall. Like he wasn't just a singles hitter. That guy had a little bit of power, and he hit line drives. He wasn't trying to go yard, but he had a lot of power for a second baseman at that time. I don't think he gets enough credit for that.
Rod Carew, what I could say I remember him is he was much like Tony Gwynn, where he would just find that hole.
Yeah.
He always put it into
comparison. Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, James, can I get a time check from you?
Time check. It's 7:55, I guess 8:55 for you. What for all you guys just jumping on late? John is doing double duty today. He's gonna be with us at the Misfits, and then he's gonna join Dylan, not for a live, but for some recording. So he's gonna
I got plenty of time. I wasn't sure. I had no idea.
He's got to conserve his energy a
long
little
day.
bit, so he's still peppy for that interview.
I need to go make some coffee.
You got to prep for that, because I mean, I'm not astute with Japanese players. I can't imagine like what you must be going through.
You know what? I just want to learn. So we have an expert coming on. I got some Japanese cards. Just want him to tell me about them.
And
I got my Giants hat here.
Sweet.
Dylan is loving it. He's feeling the love right here.
Yeah. Yeah, Dylan got all into the Japanese cards, especially O and Nagashima. And
Really?
I have a lot of those too. So
Wow.
and I'm, you know what, Dylan, we're lucky we loaded up on O all, now and over the years, because with these signatures coming out in these Topps products, he might be the next big thing. It might be the same effect as when they did that documentary on Michael Jordan, and his stuff just shot through the roof.
I had an opportunity to win a Sadahara O rookie card on one of the auction houses, and I just got beat out at the last minute, and I just let it go, because at the last minute it was just me and somebody else, and we kept waiting. You know how they give you the 10-minute window to make a decision, and I would go 9.5 minutes and I would put in another bid. And then the same thing with this guy. We took it to like midnight. We kept matching each other's bid like I guess we were both deciding how much we really wanted the card or not.
Well, you have to pay up for his rookie cards, because that's the only one people want. They just want rookie cards. I got to have a rookie card.
Well, the funny
and
thing,
they go for good money.
Yeah, but the thing with him is he has like 6 versions of rookie cards.
Yeah.
So I mean, this particular version I like because of his image. He looked like he was about to swing the bat. He was on the batter's box, and I thought it was a really nice image of his, which is why I liked it. But there's 6 versions, and I just was like, oh, this is mind-numbing for me.
Well, if you're not set on only having rookie cards, he has so many great-looking cards. So many. He played for a very long time. They put him. I mean, he was in so many cards per year. When you get into the Calbys and the Menkos, there's just beautiful cards that he is on.
Right.
And you don't have to pay nearly what you have to pay for those rookies.
Right.
Seems like a better value if you were to ask me, but no, my opinion doesn't matter, I guess, if you really want rookies. So
rookie, man.
It's not always about the rookies. For me,
usually get a rookie.
So let's talk rookie cards. The rookie of the year this year, Luis
Hill.
His rookie cards were 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So his rookie cards, his official rookie cards were 2 years ago. How the hell do you win rookie of the year? And if he won rookie of the year this year, how are those rookie cards? I'm so confused.
They're cheap as hell. And
I think you get a rookie card if you played one game, you get thrown in the top.
This is why this is why it's dumb. It's all dumb.
I'm surprised that two pitchers won Rookie of the Year this year.
It's unbelievable. First time ever, right?
I
Is it really?
don't know, but to
Huh.
me, I was shocked. I really
I
thought,
believe it's the first time ever.
yeah. I thought
And Skeens was only the second Pittsburgh Pirate ever. Can you name the first?
One Rookie of the Year.
Raybeck?
Nope. No, second Rookie of the Year ever. Not by a pitcher. And Draybeck came up with the Yankees. He didn't come up with the Pirates.
Oliver?
For the Pirates, you mean?
Yeah, for the Pirates. This is only the second Pittsburgh Pirate to ever win Rookie of the Year. You don't know?
No.
No,
Jason
I don't.
Bay.
Jason Bay. Yeah, I should know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was good for a little while there for you, John.
Oh, yeah. He was real good when he was young, but Pirates have a lot of players like that. And then if they stay good, they go to the Yankees or Tampa Bay.
Well, don't ask the Mets about Jason Bay because he stunk it up when he put on the Mets blue and orange. My God.
Well, Mets fans
nice
felt that way
paycheck,
about
though.
George Foster.
Look at Chilson. Jason Bay, great Met. Yeah, that's very facetious.
Everybody sucks when they go to the Mets. I mean, you guys, look what you paid Bobby Bonilla to take him from us. You're still paying him. The Mets.
Rusty Staub did okay when he went there.
Rusty Staub did okay everywhere.
Now,
so do you know what? Do you know what distinction? What record Rusty Staub holds?
What distinction, Rusty Staub?
I heard it one time. I don't know it right now, though. Yeah, you're stumping.
What is it?
I think Pete Rose is his nemesis, if I'm not mistaken. So Rusty Staub lost more games than anybody in history.
Lost more games?
Yeah, because he was on terrible teams all the time.
A couple of years ago.
He came up with the Colt 45s. They never won anything. Played for the Expos in their early days. They never won anything. Played for the Mets when they were bad. Played for the Astros when they were bad. I mean, think about it. All the teams he played for, they were all like losing teams.
Right. Nah, I never thought.
And I think Pete Rose is the all-time winningest player, right? I think he won more games than anybody else.
Stayed around long forever, so.
That's a fun fact I never paid attention to, honestly.
Well, you have to consider, too, that if I'm right, I believe I'm right, but Pete Rose played on some good teams,
Right. Even with the Phillies, I guess he won then, too, right?
Yeah, they had good teams back then.
Right. Yeah,
and you don't have to win the World Series every year like the Yankees to win a lot of games in the regular season when you play on a good team.
Right. I guess it's like Lasorda pretty much always had not Lasorda. What was the guy, the A's coach, and then he went to the Cardinals?
Oh,
La Russa.
Yeah, like he always had good records. Sparky Anderson, Jim Leland. And yeah, Tommy Lasorda always had solid teams.
Yeah, but I don't think he pitched. I mean, not pitched. Managed as long as some of the others like Leland and Lasorda. Yeah.
Oh, Earl Weaver. He always had winning teams.
Weaver's a good one. Well,
McGraw, going that far back, he always had good teams.
So I guess going back to the Rookie of the Year, Luis Gil won and Skeens won, obviously. Do you think Skeens is gonna do better this year, like have a better ERA, winning percentage? What do you see for him?
How the hell can he have a better ERA? I mean, he had a 1.9 ERA, the lowest since 1913 by a rookie. I don't know how he could top that.
And
I hope he's around the same.
Pitch longer, but still will probably be very, very good. Yeah.
Do you have guys coming up that are supposed to be can't misses coming up this year?
I really don't know. I really don't follow their the young players, the minor league system too much. I call my dad when I want to know about that. He knows every player in the minors. He's always calling me saying, "Hey, they're bringing so and so up. He's supposed to be this. He's supposed to be that." And I remember when he was touting Marte when they brought Sterling Marte up, and I went over his house. We watched the opening day, and he had a home run. Not opening day. We watched his first game, and he hit a home run, his first at bat. And what a fielder, man. I did a video. If you ever you could go on YouTube and there's a video about his 2016 defensive highlights. Just insane how many people he threw out and the catches he made and the throws he made.
Yeah, Marte, I really was a fan of his. I liked him and McCutcheon together. I was surprised they let go of McCutcheon first, but then they held on to Marte.
I thought they were going to keep McCutcheon forever, ever, because he was a fan favorite, man.
Right.
And I was hoping we held Marte. Marte, I think, got ripped off of a batting title 2 years ago or 3 years ago, because he got traded mid-season.
Oh.
He was leading the league in home runs and went to the
Mets.
Went to the other league.
Oh, is that when he went to the?
I think he got screwed out of a possible batting title.
Yeah, that sounds.
But he's
familiar.
one of those players that's doing good for the Mets.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that, like we were talking about with Martin and all these other guys, he just stays under the radar, but he delivers and does a little of everything. Definitely. I really liked Marte. Like, I used to play fantasy league a lot, so players like Marte stuck out to me because they always put up stats in every counting category.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why I loved Cargo, the first name we mentioned, was he was one of those players where he would get you so many points because he's putting up stats everywhere. And they stick out to me more when they do that.
Well, I'll tell you, we had oh man, I'm drawing a blank on this. We had a player, he came up for a short stint, and my dad was telling me about him when he was in the minors. And so we had Starling Marte was a center fielder, but because we had McCutcheon, they moved him to left. And this other player came up, who I'm drawing a blank on.
Gregory Polanco?
No, not Polanco. Polanco was our right fielder. But there was another young player came up for a short stint. He couldn't hit. But we were, my dad and I were talking about how good of outfielders we had in those two, and how Starling Marte should have been a center fielder, really. And he's like, wait till you see this new guy they're bringing up. He's the best defensive outfielder of the three of them. So they brought him up and put him in right. And so that at that time, Pittsburgh had 3 center fielders starting in the outfield. 3 center fielders. You don't see that too often.
That's cool.
And they probably had one of the fastest outfields at that time. They all were pretty fast. I mean, they weren't like, St. Louis was probably the fastest with Willie McGee and Andy Van Slyke and Vince Coleman. That was probably the fastest outfield of all time.
Good selections there. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Brian Giles, is that the guy? No.
No, he was Brian
different
Giles.
Generation.
Yeah, different generation.
Yeah, Mike Petty. That's who we mentioned.
No, he just came up for Hernandez. I want to say Hernandez.
Somebody.
If there are any Pirate fans here, I think it was Hernandez or something like that.
Yeah.
He played very, very little. He had no bat, but he was a nice fielder.
So, all right, John, we only got you for like maybe 20 more minutes, right? And then you want a little break, right? Before then to get ready for Dylan?
Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess I wanted to get into something that none of you are aware of, but I wanted to do a segment where I'm going to challenge the two of you and see who can come up on top between the two of you. And it's just going to be using your, I guess, educated guess. And it's maybe for bragging rights. So now if ever Mitchell gets on again, he could puff out his chest and say,
Pete Mangini. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I'll try.
What's the contest?
Okay, so I'm going to bring up 2 players, and you just have to guess which one of the 2 was better in a specific stat that I'm going to.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
All right, yeah.
You're just going to use an educated.
Super obscure.
We're going to use the honor system. Nobody better be bringing up phones or pulling up another laptop.
I'm on my phone. I can't do that.
No one's going to be texting me the answer, Jason.
I guess everyone else could, guess along. All right, so I'm gonna keep tab here. And we're not going to do it for too long. It'll just be maybe 6 questions. But let me see. Do you want a hitter or pitcher comparison?
Doesn't matter to me.
Doesn't matter. All right.
Doesn't matter.
Let's go with the first one. Who had more home runs? Now I'm going to put myself up big so you can see the comparison.
No looking at the chat.
Who had more home runs between these two players? Adam Dunn, Dave Kingman.
More home runs.
Adam Dunn.
It was done. Yeah.
Both of you are guessing. Now, why do you think Adam Dunn, John?
I used to go watch him play in Cincinnati. He hit a home run every time I saw him.
Okay, and Mitchell?
He was well over 400 home runs. That's about the only thing he did. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think Kingman got to 400.
Okay, so the answer.
No, I think Kingman's in the 300s.
462 to 442. Adam Dunn.
We were wrong about Kingman, but we were right.
Oh, he did get over 400. All right. I love Dave Kingman. I loved watching him hit bombs.
So
his game. Yep.
Both of those players, though, that's a good comparison. Those are two good players to bring up together because they both either hit a home run or struck out.
Right. Feast or famine. Big home runs out, guys. That's why I compared them to. All right, let's move over to pitching. All right. The question is, which one of these two pitchers had more 20-game win seasons? Kurt Schilling, Dave Stewart. Both are not Hall of Famers.
Dave Stewart.
Dave Stewart for John and Mitchell.
Let's see. I'm going to go Stewart as well. I know Schilling had a few, but I don't think he had multiples. I think Stewart had a lot with the A's.
Okay. And the answer is Dave Stewart with 4, Kurt Schilling with 2. Both of you on the ball, man.
Yeah, Schilling had 1 with the Red Sox and 1 with the Diamondbacks, I believe, right?
Well, I can't remember them all. I just looked at the stats, so don't ask me for those type of answers. I'm just messenger here.
He's looking for specifics from you.
No, it's not with me. All right, let's go back to hitters. With this one, I'm gonna ask you, who had the better career average? Who had the better career average between Cal Ripken and Alan Trammell?
Trammell.
The better.
I'm a Ripken fan, but I'm going to go Trammell too because Ripken's average was depressed a lot of those seasons because he was playing every single day. So Trammell.
Trammell for both of you. Are you sure? Is this your final answer?
I'm sticking with it.
Yeah, me too.
All right. The answer is Alan Trammell, 285 to 276. Man, you guys are on the ball, both of you.
That great season where he won, I think it won the batting title, if I'm not mistaken. But
man, I mean, I'm kind of disappointed that both of you are having this love affair, picking the same players. I'm trying to stump you, but maybe I'll try this one. Let me see if I got a stumper in here. All right, let's go with this one. Between these two players, let's see. Who had, let me see. Okay. Who had more RBIs throughout their career between these two players? Bobby Bonilla or Lance Berkman?
Berkman.
Who had more RBIs?
I'm going Berkman.
Me too. He was a beast.
Both of you? This love affair has to stop, man.
Who's still getting paid? People be in now.
So you were both correct. Bobby Bonilla, 1234 to Bonilla is 1173. Berkman is 1234. 4 for 4. Jesus, Lord have mercy. You guys are killing me here. All right, let's see if I could stump you with these two. Let's go back to pitchers. Who had the better winning percentage in their best season?
In their best season, that's a tough one, man.
Doc Gooden or
Guidry.
Ron Guidry?
Guidry.
In their best season, best winning percentage. Oh man, is that tough?
Dwight Gooden
Best winning percentage.
or Ron Guidry?
Okay, so let's just break this up. He went Ron Guidry. I'm gonna go Gooden. We won't agree for once.
Okay. The answer is Ron Guidry.
Yeah,
Ron
Yeah, it was that
Guidry.
78 season, wasn't it?
that was a tough one.
Yeah, he went 25-3 with an 893 winning percentage. Gooden was 24-4, 857. So Mitchell got the lead now.
That's because John was being nice.
Well,
Well, we
Guidry knew
we
the
had to
answer.
break it up, and I didn't know the answer. I mean, in their best season, that's a tough one. Best winning percentage.
I actually looked stuff up on Guidry not too long ago for a video, so it was fresh in my mind. Yeah.
Well, I brought them up was because they both had some of the all-time greatest seasons ever.
Yeah, Guidry was fantastic, but Doc Gooden was fantastic.
Yep.
All right, so John is down by 1.
Gooden was like unhittable that one year.
Right. All right, in this next one, we're gonna have who had the
Couple
most.
years.
Let me see. Who had the most home runs for their career between Carlos Delgado and Dave Winfield?
Delgado.
Who had the most home runs in their career?
Oh wow. Delgado and Dave Winfield. How many did Delgado have?
Well, I can't tell you. You got to take a guess.
I can't tell you either, actually. I kind of know pretty close to the number, actually.
They're less than 10 away from each other.
Is that right?
And I can
Really
get,
that close? Wow.
they're that close.
All right. I don't know the answer, so I'm gonna go opposite of him and guess Winfield.
And Mitchell, your guess was who?
Delgado.
Delgado. The answer is Delgado with 473 to 460.
Yeah, I knew it was close to 500. It wasn't too far off.
Yeah, it's 8 away. So Mitchell is up 6-4. I only have 2 more left. So if you don't, John,
I'm just gonna go opposite of him. It's the only way I could tie him.
all right.
That's why I went opposite of him there.
Okay.
But if I let you answer first, I picked the same answer you did.
So John, you're telling me
Well, the first 4 I answered first. That's why I was letting you answer it. I was going opposite because I kept answering first.
all right. Now, this one is going to be who had the most doubles in their career between one Don Mattingly and Will Clark?
Ooh.
Who had the most doubles for their career? Both was
Wow.
Will. I'm gonna go with Will. He was like a double machine.
Yeah, I mean, my guess is Will, but I guess I have to go Mattingly if I want to tie it up.
Okay.
If I want a chance of tying it up,
So John
I would guess Will Clark.
Okay, so the answer would be Don Mattingly. John
Oh, look at that.
2
By 2?
is
Wow.
Don Mattingly edges him out by 2. So John, this is the last one. You either have a chance to tie it for respectability, or Mitchell just goes home with the victory.
I got to go same strategy, opposite of what he says.
All right. This last one, let's see, what do I have here? This last one is who had the most saves for their career? And the question is Billy Wagner or Dennis Eckersley? Most saves for their career.
Wagner.
John?
I think it's probably Wagner, but I got to go Dennis Eckersley. Just had a chance to tie it.
That's your final answer,
Yep.
Mitchell.
Now you're making me double guess, but yeah, I'll stick with Wagner. He was like only a reliever, right? Eckersley kind of was a starter for so long. I think he just got over 300, right? So we'll find out. So.
All right. Answer is Billy Wagner with 422 to 390.
There you go.
To John's defense, he would have gone with Wagner. So John, he
True.
probably would have been tied with you had he stuck with his guns more often.
I shouldn't have deviated that first time. I was just trying to mix it up.
I think you would.
It was no fun agreeing on everything.
But I think you would have won because you would have gotten Mattingly right.
Yeah. You know what? It's all good, man. That was fun. We apparently both know a little bit about baseball to be able to guess those.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised both of you pretty much were getting all the.
Yeah, you got a lot of my era, which helped a lot. If you had gone further back, might have leaned towards John, although I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
Try it again. Yeah.
If we go vintage next time, like way back.
Okay, we'll go vintage next time.
I don't know. I like those eras too, but
I really didn't.
I don't know. John knows a lot. So.
I didn't watch a lot of baseball in like the whole 2000s decade until like the Pirates. My dad got me back into them around the time they were going to the playoffs for the first time in forever. Because I made a vow that when they traded Brian Giles after they traded Jason Kendall, I wasn't watching baseball anymore because I was tired of watching them just trade everybody I had to watch. And I stuck to my word for a long time. I didn't watch. So there are a lot of those players you talk about for the Hall of Fame or whatever, and I'll say, well, I really didn't get a chance to watch them much because there was a big era where I really didn't watch baseball.
Yes, and Mr. President loses. The people will storm the National.
Recount.
Hey, the National's my hometown. Stay. Don't be storming anything.
So Mitchell has bragging rights over the president.
So did you guys hear that they might be bringing the Redskins logo back?
Really?
Well, I hope so because a lot of people are making a big thing about it. That they should have.
Yeah, because so apparently, and I didn't know the history on this. That emblem was created by a Native American honoring a Native American chief. And apparently there's a lot of Native Americans that are pissed off that they don't use it anymore.
Yeah, I hope they bring it back because they need to stick it back to cancel culture.
I never knew that. I never knew that was to honor a specific chief. I forget his name. But they apparently it wasn't offensive to them. It must just be offensive to white people.
Yeah, the tribe involved was actually mad when they got rid of it.
And yeah, so there's a thing now. They're moving. They're moving their stadium, I think, to DC. And so now that as part of that, there's something going on where I think they might be bringing that emblem back. I always thought it was a really great emblem that honored Native Americans. That's always how I felt about it, but I had no idea the background on it.
Yeah.
So now it's even cooler.
Right. Mike Petty, I agree with Mike Petty. Taking that logo away was as stupid as taking away the Indians logo. I really was upset with both of those teams losing their.
Yeah, I've been on record as saying I understand the Indians, but I never understood the Redskins because that was really such a great depiction of an Indian, an Indian chief, a Native American chief. And I didn't even know it was actually representing a specific chief. I just thought it was really cool, because if you want to name the team the Italians,
right,
I will root for them no matter what city they're in. Name them the Italians. I'm not going to be offended.
Right.
It's like the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame.
Right. And do you think they'll get it back, John?
It sure sounds like it. It sure sounds like it.
Right.
I mean, if that was truly to honor a specific chief and tribe, and you take that away, isn't that offensive?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I feel like they should be
that's more
involved in that
offensive
decision,
to me.
right? They should be brought to the table to have that discussion. They could keep the logo potentially and change the name. They didn't have to do it all at the same time. I mean, they can definitely get rid of the Slur is their team name, but
Yeah, and they're bringing the Bullets back too.
Are they
are they
Yeah, they're
really?
gonna. Yeah, to
Yeah.
Chicago.
really?
Funny.
You just. Oh my gosh, I don't know when to trust John with his information.
Yeah, I used to tell the joke that before the Redskins changed their name, I used to tell the joke. I'd say, "Did you hear the they want to change the Redskins name again?" And people like, "Really?" And I'd say, "Yeah, because the Washington is offensive." Congress.
Right. The dad jokes are rampant right
First
now.
in
The
New York, first in
Washington was
peace,
more offensive.
last in the American League.
I just feel like cancel culture went amok there for a little while there, and they were given too much power to anything they dictated must change. It's offensive, and this is offensive, that's offensive.
Everything was offensive.
Right.
Everything was offensive. Everything was racist. Everything was transphobic. I mean, you name it. And yeah, they just, this is what humans do. We go too far. It's like, there was crime back in the 90s. So they came up with the crime bill to put everybody in jail. Like they went too far in that direction. Then they had to start letting people out because it was just, ridiculous how many people they were locking up. And that's what our government does. They go too far in one direction until people get up in arms, and then it goes too far in the other direction. We're probably going to go too far in the other direction now. You realize that. And then next election, we'll be going back in this direction.
I mean,
I don't know what it is about humans where they can't just find some happy medium.
every time I look at this card, am I going to get offended? Like with Indians splashed across his chest? Like, come on.
I don't know. You might, people might confiscate these in the future. I wouldn't invest too highly in them.
Have a card burning started by Mike Moynihan.
Funny.
Do you remember how?
All right. I'm going to jump off. I'm starting to get myself into trouble.
Oh, is it that time?
So I thought we were talking about baseball cards. So yeah, I'm trying to stay away from politics because it can get kind of messy here. So
well, John's got to leave us. Mitchell, do you want to hang
Well,
out?
in our defense, we weren't really talking
around,
politics. We were talking Redskins and current happenings in the sports world.
All right. Well, John, good luck with Dylan. Hopefully he takes it gentle with you. And you have some fun.
I'm going to do a lot of listening.
Okay.
Yeah, I look forward to watching it when it's already to air. So
Right.
All right, guys.
Thanks for having me on there, John. So
yeah, good to be on with you. James, we'll do it again next week.
Yeah, next week.
Well, maybe not. It's the night before Thanksgiving.
Right. I don't know if I'll be able to get on, but I think Lou
Yeah, I might not be able to
might
either.
do it. Somehow we'll still try to be on.
Okay.
Mitchell, you gonna hang out or you gotta go
Sure.
too? You hang out?
All right. See you guys.
All right, John. So Mitchell, recently you've been picking up a lot of modern cards, you say. And you know me, I've been telling you I've been into the whole big modern kick, but you still love your vintage, right? You're not picking up any more vintage right now?
no, I am. That's what I'm going to be targeting this weekend is vintage cards when I go to the card show. Specifically cards for the Diamond Star set or the 53 Bowman that I still need. So yeah, that's still where my love is, but I don't have anything strong opinions against modern cards. I just get very selective of what I pick up. More so like players that I'm interested in. And I try not to deviate too much from that just because I find it to be kind of a rabbit hole that you could really go down there and like come at this parallel from this set and that set. And I just get a little bit lost. So if I stick with Pujols, Jeter, and some selected sets that I really like, I'm usually safe and not going too far into that. Vintage could be the same way. But there's some things I just naturally gravitate towards that I really like doing. Cards from the 30s I really love. Cards from the 40s and early 50s is kind of the vintage that I really like to collect, although I have cards from the 70s, I have cards from the 60s as well as the late 50s.
So how far are you away from the Diamond Star set? Like what big names are left that you need to pick up?
Well, I'm only about halfway there. So like the full set's 108 cards, but like the last 10, I think, or maybe I think it's the last 10. I think that number, maybe it's, I can't remember off the top of my head, are repeats. So the same player images that were featured earlier in the sets, they're just kind of reissued with the 1936 release, and they decided to give them different numbers on the backs of those cards as opposed to just reissuing them with the same number they did with pretty much all the other cards that they released that year, except for the new ones they added on the last, like last 15 or 20 cards in the set. So people can either look at like a go for all 108 as a complete set, or you go with like the 96, which is, I guess it's 12 cards. So I'm going from the 96. So as opposed to like kind of getting those cards from 36 that, yeah, I guess they are kind of short printed in a sense because they have a different number, but the player images appear in 35 and 34, depending on where it's at. I'm at about 52 cards, I think, the last time I looked at. So pretty healthy amount. And I have, with the ones that are left, I probably have about the same number of like Hall of Famers that I need that I already have. So I think I have about like 17 of the Hall of Famers, and I think I still need about like 17 more. And most of them are the bigger names. So like the Jimmy Fox, I still need the Hank Greenberg, Lefty Grove, or some of the big ones that I still need, which are probably the three biggest in the set. So like this weekend, I maybe want to try and like not get those three, but it'd be kind of cool if I walked out of there with potentially Rogers Hornsby is what I'm kind of thinking about, Melot or something like that, kind of looking at maybe like trying to hone in on those two cards in particular, see if I can find them at prices that I'm willing to at least pay for at the show. And as far as 53 Bowman, I still need, I think 8 Hall of Famers, I think is what I need. So whatever I've left after I acquire the Diamond Star card, might go after trying to get Larry Doby is like one I still need, who's not terribly expensive, but I still need it. Bob Feller, things like that. There's some that are like kind of like in that 200 and below range that I want to target. So not the Mantle yet, not the Berra, but there are the Pee Wee Reese, but they're definitely on the horizon in the future. Yeah, I've had a good year. I finished 48 Bowman this year, so I'm not upset at all if I don't make huge progress on either of those in the next few weeks.
Do you have the Whitey Ford yet for the Bowman?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That was one of the first ones I got for that set, actually.
Oh, really? That's a good one. That one doesn't come up too often. I had one that was high, like centered very high, and I eventually, although it was like a 5, I wasn't too happy with the centering, and eventually I sold it. But to find a new one to get it back, it's almost like non-existent. I hardly ever see them come up, and they always go for a lot of money. So it's a good thing you picked up that one.
I bought it ungraded. I mean, it's not the best centered, but like the corners are still white on there, so they haven't like aged all that badly. So there's a lot of other features about the card that I really like. It's got good registration as well. Like I said, it came back a 3, and I bought that as part of a 2-card purchase from the same dealer. It's actually the same purchase I made when Jason introduced himself to me at a show. So that's kind of the same story. And I picked up the 58 All-Star of Ted Williams at the same show. So got them both graded, and I was happy with the scores on both of them.
Nice. I picked up a few recent, like the 58 All-Star, the Stan Musial autograph. Actually sold it, and then I reacquired it, so for less money. So that's a good thing. And then I've been trying to pick up autograph versions of cards like from the 30s, but they're so tough. And then I've been trying to get the Diamond Stars, some of the players, but trying to get these autograph cards in the 30s, they go up like almost 4 times as much. It's tough.
Yeah, because it wasn't a thing, right, to have the cards like kind of signed at that time. So especially for the players that are dead, the ones that died shortly after release. I mean, they're all dead now, but those that lived to be longer kind of went through the whole autograph sports memorabilia boom and craze, so they were able to sign. So, but those guys that were like Mel Ott might be hard to find because he died pretty young.
Right. And then with the modern, you're just doing what you said. I'm deep into the 2011, and I've also been trying to put together a 2013 insert set of the top set. I got a few here just to showcase. Ooh. My most recent pickup here, Mike Trout autograph. So I'm picking up the insert set, Chasing History. And I really like they have three parallels. They have the base, silver foil, a gold foil. Then they have the relics, autographs, and a relic autograph. So for whatever reason, I got into this mode where I wanted to try to complete like a rainbow. And within that rainbow, I'll pick up the three variations plus a relic and an autograph, or the relic autograph version, which is super tough. Let me see if I have some here. So like here's a Fergie Jenkins relic autograph, and they're numbered to 25. So they're really tough. They
Wow.
hardly come up. And then like for Prince Fielder, they have a jumbo patch relic, which this one's also tough to find, the jumbo patch.
That's a really nice looking patch though.
Yeah, they usually are because they're very low numbered. Here's a Cal Ripken. This one was a little bit pricey, and you can tell the patch is very colorful. So I have a big binder with like all of them set up, but these I can't put them in there because like they're in the slabs. There's Ken Griffey Jr. So I've been having fun with, yeah, this is a nice one that I've been working on. It's got a lot of
2013 like base set that had these as inserts, or was it like part of Chrome or something?
No, it was in the base set. It was an insert set.
Wow. The inserts have definitely changed, yeah, with more recent flagship products.
Is it Didi Gregorius? I didn't expect to share these. I'm like reaching behind me to get these. Here's Carlos Gonzalez. We were talking about him for the Hall of Fame ballot.
Yep.
So I try to pick up the ones with just a plain little swatch, but for it to have a pinstripe on it. Sometimes you can't because the uniform doesn't have that version. They cut up like a blue jersey with this one. It's Carlton Fisk with a bat relic. But like Ryan Howard, this one had the little pinstripe in the swatch. So, I mean, just trying to show you what I've been rabbit hole, one of the rabbit holes I've been in. So having fun with that. Even though I love my vintage card, I still get into the modern in this route where it's a little fun chase. Every now and then I get back in and out and I have fun with it. So with you, it's parallels, right?
it's been the Pujols Sapphire cards and Heritage Refractors is what I've been kind of picking up. I've also like looked for like Jeter ones too. They're just a little bit more expensive for the Heritage Refractors, getting some of those. But like some of the fun ones I've gotten recently, let's see if I can pull them out recently here. Give me 1 second as I kind of go through the box. Nothing too special, but like actually go to 2019. Sorry. Have them all like in numerical order and by year. So it takes me a little while sometimes to pull out the one that I want to get to the right year.
Yeah. We'll bring you up so you can share them, right?
Yeah. So like, you know, some of these I got not too long ago was like the refractor was already graded and like it didn't break the bank whatsoever.
Right.
To be able to pick this up. It came in a PSA 10, but just what a beautiful little card, you know. And I went ahead and got the purple actually graded to go with it.
Okay.
Recently in that SGC special they did for Chrome. Sorry about the glare on there, but you know, they just really kind of capture the light really well, especially the refractor on there. So I'm picking up some of those. I have been wanting to kind of get back to the vintage too in my collection. So like I know at some point I need to kind of get to those to finish my projects, but some of these are like really been really fun cards to pick up. So like here's another one that's from the previous year.
Okay.
That's such great color, you know, when they do it. So
when
I showed you some of the sapphire ones, but
so when you pick up some of these modern cards and then you go back to Diamond Stars, how is it that you jump back and forth? Like you get frustrated, you can't find something to come up, and then you switch gears. How do you go about it?
No, I mean, I think at the beginning of the year, I set like some hobby goals for myself. So like they're like a lot of my save searches are based on what the goals were. The only things I really kind of added were like doing the Heritage Refractors this year and some of the Sapphire stuff for Albert Pujols, but I was already like looking for like the base products gold cards for him. So I have a few of those that I picked up recently too, and trying to finish off the base gold parallel runs for Derek Jeter. So I'm trying to get like all the player combo cards and stuff like that too for him. So I just kind of expanded those a little bit. Those are like kind of easy to find for the most part, but sometimes I don't want to pay what some people are asking for them. So I have to wait for like some of the refractors to come to auction to be able to get some of the prices that I'm comfortable with, or like buy it now offers. But like getting back to your point, as far as the vintage stuff, I prioritized the beginning of the year, finished 48 Bowman. So that was like a big thing for the first half of the year to kind of finish that set, which concluded over the summer when I picked up the Yogi Berra card to finish the set. But throughout the year, I like wanted to get, I think, 15 more Diamond Stars this year. But I went over that, so I have a few more than that. Some of them are like commons, but sometimes like a seller has a couple of them up at auction at once. So I just like, okay, let's try and go for all three of them, because I could save on shipping to be able to do it and put it together. So that's kind of been the approach I've done. And when I go to card shows, I'm usually only like, especially the big ones I'm going to go to this weekend, I look just for the vintage stuff I need. I don't even look at the modern tables. So because there's such a variety there. There's more supply of some of the things that I'm looking for, so I can make some choices and make those in-person transactions. And sometimes you get better deals than if you're trying to do it online for those. So I've really kind of stuck to my hobby goals from the beginning of the year. So I've kind of knocked out the things from usual this year. I've kind of finished Derek Jeter's base gold card for each one. So now I'm getting like the player combo cards that he's in and stuff like that, the all-star cards and stuff like that. But the last one I needed was the 2007 one, where he's a gold card, where it's the air card also with George Bush in the background and Mickey Mantle. So I got that one early in the year. So I'll be looking at my list at the end of the year. I'll probably be doing a video about that, and then kind of developing the list for the next year. And then, once the big sets are done, I have like a bigger list that's already on standby of things I want to put together to kind of like say these are like sets that I want to work on, but they'll be like, 10, 15 year project kind of thing to be able to do it. And, like kind of not being pigeonholed to just kind of one project at a time.
Right.
I even finished, like, this was also one at the beginning of the year, was finishing all the Stars and Hall of Famer gold parallels from 2001. So I got that done earlier in the year too. So yeah, and I've been grading some of those throughout the year. So
Yeah, no, that's cool. You go for some of the challenging ones, which makes the pickup, I guess, a lot more richer when you find it, right?
Yeah, I do get distracted, so I did kind of go a little bit of a rabbit hole and started like looking up the 2018-19 Chrome Premier League product. So I'd already had this card, but now I picked up another one recently and got it graded. So I might try and go after like more of the stars. So I got Kevin De Bruyne recently too, like Mo Salah and stuff like that, because I'm a huge EPL fan. So like baseball and EPL are like the sports that I spend most of my time with. So
Okay, sounds pretty cool. Well, we're basically almost at 2 hours here. So no, an hour and a half. Sorry about that. I guess we're probably gonna be setting off soon, but any last thing you probably want to share, or show any latest pickups other than the Pujols that you just shared?
I didn't share with you like any Diamond Stars, and we were talking about that too. So let me pull my box over here and I can kind of show some.
Okay.
Give me 1 second there, James. Yeah, but so like I said, I'm not going to show all of them because I have so many in here, but I can show you some of the fun ones that I've kind of just acquired over the course of like a year or so. Like just like this really nice condition Tommy Bridges.
Okay.
It's like a 5 and stuff like that. I picked it up at this card show, I think it wasn't March, it was last November, but I picked up a couple cards from that dealer. And he was pricing them to move, and we had a good negotiation about the set, which was a lot of fun. Like some of the recent ones I picked up, just the last time I went to the show, I got like 4 Hall of Famers together. So I got like Bill Terry picked up from the same dealer. And I got like also like Bucky Harris at that one. Got Frankie Frisk at the same show too, as long as Kai Kyler too. I picked them up. So beautiful cards. I really love them. I mean, the only thing that deters from the set is that it doesn't have Ruth. It doesn't have Garrick. It doesn't have Bob Feller, because by 36, some of those other players were available, Joe DiMaggio and stuff like that. But I mean, it's kind of just nitpicking with the set at that point. I mean, it's a beautiful set. 34 Gaudi's got some of the same issues, but not having some of the big stars too. So, you know,
Right,
but,
right. Agreed. I think if it would have had some of those names in it, that set would have been by far one of the best sets made out there, because I love that Art Deco design. The Jimmy Fox is my favorite out of all of them. I could have chased his rookie card. I could have chased, some of the other Jimmy Fox cards, but that's the one I wanted, and I got it in a grade 6, which at the time
oh
was
wow,
a
yeah.
really tough card. And that's the card that did it for me. I just love that image of him. And
What I really like about them too is like it's surprisingly they're really well centered. You know, I thought for cards that are as old as they are, they don't have some of the same like issues you find with like tops from like the late 70s where they just didn't seem to care. They wanted to print it as quickly as they could, and they're miscut all over the place. Seems like they kind of took their time, like with kind of like cutting them and putting them in packs. You do cards that are maybe not perfectly centered, but like they're not horribly miscut and stuff like that. I really don't find that with the Diamond Stars. Yeah, I mean, they haven't always been kept in the best condition, but you can find a lot of cards easily in 3s, 4s, and 5s for that set, which kind of like surprises the crap out of me. Like they just shouldn't be that good, from that era, but they present so well.
yeah, I guess things got too expensive for them to keep re-signing all these players to do another set after 36, right? It just
They stopped like mid-season, I think, on that one. Yeah.
Right. It's a shame, but I guess they couldn't mess with the big wigs like Gaudi. Gaudi is Gaudi, but and then the war came around shortly after.
Yeah, it was also the Depression, right? So it was a way to get kids to buy bubble gum, and they're competing with other bubble gum companies. So
Right. Well, thank you, Mitchell, for jumping on with us and having a happy hobby hump day with us.
yeah, thanks again for the invite. So,
Yeah, it was
I'm glad I was able to make it work. I was pulling in the driveway when you said, "Can you jump on?" So.
Yeah, and then you were a good sport to get challenged by John, and you beat him. So now you get to have bragging rights with him.
I think he'll probably want to get a second chance on me at some point.
I'm gonna do more of those. I have like 3 pages of comparisons, but now I'm gonna get to work on some vintage from now on. Because
yeah, you might find out I'm a huge baseball nerd if you invite me back for these. I went on the baseball tour in Dodger Stadium in January, and one of the tour guides was really a big Dodger fan and was giving like trivia questions as we went through it. I think I missed one the whole tour. At some point, I just stopped answering because like I know the answer, but let somebody else answer this question, and no one else answered. They started looking at me like, "Okay, what is it?" So like, it's this, yeah.
Wow. Well, all right, guys. Thank you for joining on, everyone who watched, and we'll be doing this again next year. I'm not going to be on because of Thanksgiving. I'll be out in Pennsylvania visiting my sister, but Lou, I believe, wants to hop on, and if things fall apart, then we'll be on the week after, and hope everyone understands it's just the holidays. But on that note, thank you guys for watching. We'll be on the next hump day. Bye, guys.